This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue learning the halachos of Bayim Achrayim and Birchas Hamazon in Siman Mem Dalet, and we pick it up from Sif Yud Dalet. It says the Kitzur Ta B'Rosh Chodesh. If someone messed up on Rosh Chodesh, continuing the halachos of one who forgot the Yaaleh Ritzei V'Lomer Yaaleh, and he did not say Yaaleh. Omer, he should say, as we saw in the previous ifim, again, when is this? So the note over here points out that it was after he said the Baruch Hashem Unu V'nei Yerushalayim, but he did not go into the next bracha. So you add in this bracha. Similar to forgetting Yaaleh Rosh Hashanah on Yom Tov Israel Yom Zikar Yom Zikar V'Imloi Nizkar Halachas Chabrach Shachra, then Einoi Chayzel Roish, he does not go back, and that's because particularly on Rosh Hashanah one does not go back if he forgets Yaaleh v'Yavai. Rosh Chodesh Chal v'Shabbos if that's Vav. Rosh Chodesh that falls out on Shabbos. V'Shachar Tzevim Yam Yaaleh v'Yavai v'Nitzka v'Omer, and he remembers Baruch Hashem Kin Malchus Shanatzin Koilel Gam Rosh Chodesh B'Im V'Sicha Bin Chasima. You mentioned both Omer. Shanasa and Shabbos L'Menucha Lama Yisrael B'Avalo Yisrael Rosh Chodesh Zikar Baruch Hashem Kadosh Yisrael Rosh Chodeshim V'Avi Rosh Chodesh Levad Ein Chaysem. Even though in Rosh Chodesh you don't end off with the chaysim, the end of the bracha like we just saw. Shabbos, maskir gam roish chodesh. And again, obviously, it's difficult to remember all the nusach of all these additional brachas. All the benchers have them. Let's say you said one. And you began the next bracha already. Why? He said Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. And as we learned already, for Rosh Chodesh, you're not going to go back. You don't repeat benching for forgetting on Rosh Chodesh, as there's no Chiyav Suda on Rosh Chodesh. The opposite. And therefore you have to go back because of Shabbos. Once you go back, you say both. And that's a very important klal, that any time you have to repeat for one reason, and there's another mistake that you made, you add in that mistake the next time as well. We continue with Sifte Zayin in the halachas of Al Hanissim. Says the Kitzur Mechanik B'Purim Shachalemer Al Hanissim. V'lo Nisken, you remember Allah Hashem Hashem Mechzim Zabracha, and you already said the shame in the bracha of Allah Kol Shem Baruch Hashem. Einay Chayzer Ach B'Toicha Rachaman Mechanik and Purim. There's a unique savior. What do? Yomer Harachaman who has Hanissim of Flois. And then you go into Mimat Yisrael, Mim Mordechai, etc. So important to the Chanukah and Purim to be aware that you can still save the day in the Harachmans. Hayoichel v'Shabbos. Someone's eating on Shabbos, the Chashka and it becomes night. For many, this happens by Shal Shodis. Says the kids who give Shadayin Loit Balel Arvit. You didn't do Ma'ariv yet. Oimer Ritzei, you still let us say Ritzei even though it's nightfall. You began the Suda by day. So you still mention Ritzei Avobisham Varich, Balayla, you still mention Chanukah Purim, etc. Says the Kitzur, everything begins if you started eating before Shkia. And now this will be a classical case. One begins eating Rosh Chodesh and this is the flip side, excuse me. This is Rosh Chodesh is tomorrow. So I started eating today. But then after Nacht, after Layla, after Sisa Kechavim, I ate a kazayis of bread. So Chlem Yal V'Yav of Chanukah Purim, the same thing. Now, says the Kitzur, let's put both halachas together. We just said that everything goes, but when you started the Suda, therefore in Shabbos, if you began before Shkia, you let us say Ritzei even at nightfall. But then we said by Rosh Chodesh, if you had a Kzayis Pas after Layla, you let us say Yaaleh v'Yavai. So says the Kitzur, what happens if they both go together? You began before Shkia. But then your Suda went to the night and you ate bread at night. Well, the Rosh Chodesh, the next day is Rosh Chodesh. So now you have a real problem. So now we have what we call a tarti de sasri. On one hand, you're saying Shabbos from the beginning of the Suda. On the other hand, you're saying Aviyavai from the end of the Suda. Again, Rosh Chodesh is Sunday. Oimer, the Kitzur Paskins, you say both. But says the Kitzur V'yesh Chalkim. Why? The two are inherently contradictory. As you're saying one part which shows you go by the beginning of the meal, you're saying one that goes by the end of the meal. Al Kain says the Kitzur you shall know the best is you should not eat on when it's already nightfall by Layla, and you should only eat by day. And that's of course what we always remind in such a scenario when Rosh Chodesh is on Sunday. Only make sure you eat before Shkia, not have bread after Shkia, and then you say Ritzei. Now, again, if you want to know what the Kitzur would paskin you should do, the Kitzur would paskin, we go with the Tarti de Sasri and you say both, but unanimously it should be avoided. Says the Kitzur, Kulanu Yachad in the Arach, a special Harachamon. We continue into Siman Mem Hey, the halachas of Zimun. And our article over here is a beautiful akdama that whenever we have three men eating together, we're inviting one another to bench together. And ideally, we'll see, you still say the whole Berachas Hamazon aloud, everyone listens, and one person actually benches for everyone else. That's how it was, Bizman Chazal. However, nowadays, we say that people aren't going to listen, people can't concentrate, therefore everyone benches together. Number three actually, lechatchila should be made over wine. Says the Kitzur, three people that eat together, Zimun. Umitzvah shevarchu ala kois. Imefsher basel zrichel na'adish because yain should be wine. Imefsher bayayin yeshechar amed. It should be beer. It should be. I'm sorry, we lost the place. It should be shechar beer. Amed yayin sara beer or whiskey. Shu chamar medina. If it's chamar medina, she'ina yayin gadol sham. They don't have wine. Kedar yom in a year within a day's travel from the city. Alkenu biyaker. Uregilin l'sheis mashkenelu, and you have these other drinks. Chamar medina b'makom yayin. V'yesh aimrim deberch zamazin afilu biyachid tunakais. V'noigin hamid taktikin. Shavarcha biyachid. Sholech laikos biyad. They don't hold the kais. Rakvinichon asal hashukon lefneim. So incredible chumrah. We're seeing that number one, you should bench at laikos, and even biyachidos really. Derech mazli tunakais. But if you do a biyachidos, don't hold the kais. Leave it in front of you. Says the Kitzur, this week inclusive Beis, Meisikin is the kais to chil, you pour the kais, and only afterwards should you wash mayim achreinim. And this was more when they used to dilute the wine in Note 7. And the reason is you want to go straight from mayim achreinim, straight into Berachas Hamazon. We'll pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya.